Hello everyone, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this card making tutorial. This is the lovely fun fold card I have to share with you today. It's actually a Twisted Easel card and it's got this little belly band. I've made it into an Easter card. So let's take the belly band off and then this sits up and then this little bit here stands up like that. So you have it looking like that. And this features the Homemade Sweetness designer series paper, and this is new and online exclusive that started just now, beginning of March. So, and as I said, I've made this into a little Easter card. Oh, I think it's just so cute. I wanted to share it with you. So let's make another one here together. Let's close this little baby up. I'll leave it like that for now. And so this one was the card base here was Misty Moonlight, and this is Granny Apple Green. We're going to do slightly different colourway this time, so I'm going to bring through some of my stuff that we're going to need. So our card base this time is going to be, let's see, Daisy, Granny Apple Green, and then I've got two pieces of basic white. One is going to go on the outside, as you can tell here, and one is going to go on the inside. So I'm going to stick this one on the inside for now. I was going to see if there's any glue left in this Tombow. There's a little bit. I have got a couple of spares with me, so we're not going to run out. So I'll try to use it until I've got every little bit out of it. So we'll put that on the inside. Now, before we do anything on the outside, we need to divide our front flap. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer to do this. And we basically want to divide it in half. Now, maybe not the slightest way of doing it, but I find the easiest way of doing it is just fold it in half like that, pinch it to get that spot where it is, and then we can cut at that pinch line. So we're going to cut from that pinch line to the score line where it flaps, just like that. Okay. Then I've got two pieces of basic white. They're going to fit into these little sectors here. And all the measurements for these pieces will be on the blog post. And you can find the link to that in the description box below. So I'm not going to go through all of the measurements now because there is a ton of them. But they will all be on the blog post. So look for that. So I've taken these little rectangles and you saw I've cut them in half, point to point. Doesn't matter which way you do it because they're white. You can have them either way. Okay. So next we want to do the same with our designer series paper. So let's get this out here. Now this designer series paper has a direction, so you need to be careful how you cut this. So before I do cut it, I'm actually going to do my scoring on my flaps because we need to score them. So let me show you on the original. We're going to score from the center point to the corner, from the center point to the corner. So I keep dropping things on the floor, but anyway. So from the center point to the corner, so just line it up in your trimmer in the trap from the center point to the corner. And on these trimmers, your light grey blade is your scoring blade. So just give it a good score. Tap one side and then the other side. And just line it up. So. Like that. Okay. And then we are going to cut our DSP. Now our two pieces of DSP or designer series paper, pattern paper, are going to fit on like that. Like that. Make sure you've got the right direction. And this is the direction I want it to be in, like that. So what I'm going to do is make sure I cut one piece like this and one piece like that. So I'm going to leave this to the side, bring this piece, and I know I want to score this cut this rather, corner to corner, just like that. And that's going to go there. And then I'm going to do the opposite on the other side. Also corner to corner, but the opposite corners. And that's going to go like that. Okay, so that you can put our sugar away for now. And let's just keep these in the orientation. And you can start to stick stuff down. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold on my score lines. So these are going to be mountain folds that they stand up like this. So I'm going to give these a really good fold, really good burnish, get a really nice crisp fold. And I'm going to do the same here on the other side. And that will help them stand up. Obviously, it's going to stand up even better once we've got the little stopper in place. But let's stick down our pieces now. So let's get this tombow out and let's start to stick. Before you stick down a piece, make sure you know where it's going so you put glue on the correct side. Just like that. And this one's going to go like this, so let's put glue here. And then we want to put one here, so the glue is going to go on this side. Told you my tombow's near the end, but like a lot of crafters, we don't want to waste stuff. That's why our craft rooms tend to be full of this, that, and everything else, because you never know when you might need something. So now you can see here, I'm just making sure I get it in the right orientation, because there's nothing worse than finding that you've got the glue on the wrong side of a card like this, because you're going to struggle to get all that glue off, and you just maybe have to cut another piece, which is annoying. So just make sure you check your orientation before you stick. There's our white. Now we're going to put down this lovely paper. And then when I looked at this paper, it just reminded me of, you know, the WI and very much the countryside, homemade preserves, fruit trees and such like. Don't have any fruit trees. I have not really good at. I'm not the best baker sort of, you know, preserver of stuff. Mainly because I don't eat jam really very much. Never have. But one jam I used to absolutely love was my grandmother's jam. She made this delicious fig jam because they were farmers back in South Africa, and so she learned all of this on the farm. Obviously, didn't buy stuff; they had to make it themselves. And they had fruit trees. Obviously, they had an orchard, and she made the most delicious fig jam with fresh figs. And of course, they were fresh because they grew them locally. They weren't imported like ours here in the UK quite often. So it was really nice. And she used to preserve a lot. She used to grow lots of green beans and then she would freeze them and she'd make jams and all sorts. But there you go. So that's what we've got so far. And as you can see, it's going to stand up just like that. Really easy. So the next thing we want to do is we want to make our stopper. as you can see, we've got a stopper here, so we want to do that next. So let me move some of these bits aside. We're going to be doing some fussy cutting as well. I'm going to need another piece of designer's paper. It doesn't look like I've cut it, so I'm going to have to cut a little piece. So let's bring in our trimmer again, and I keep all of my designer's paper in these little LP. If you're a certain age, you'll know what an LP is. These little things. I'm just looking for a scrap that's going to be wide enough. That isn't. But that piece will be perfect. So, just going to cut this down, and then this will be fine. You can use as wide or as thinner one as you want. This is about 1.5 centimeters wide, somewhere like that. 1.5 to 2 centimeters wide. Really, I think it's about 2 centimeters wide. Really doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do will be good. Right. So now you can choose which side you want to use. I'm thinking I'm going to use this one also. Let's use this one, be different. So on the back here, I want to put down some foam strips or foam tape. I'm going to use some foam tape because I've got this bit left over from something. I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to use that bit there. Doesn't come off properly. This is why I love Stampin' Up products. You don't have this trouble where things don't sort of come off the reel properly. And I'm just going to need a tiny piece here on the end. And I'm going to just, it doesn't want to tear, so I'm just going to add it. Right. So then you can decide where you want your stopper to be. I think I'm going to have it a little bit higher than last time. And then have it around there. Let's just check. This is not straight. Even I can tell that. Well, let's pull this up again. And see if we can do a better job this time. Yeah, I will do. It is handmade, it is not shop made. It is not meant to look like it's shop made. You can see here how it will just stopper that. So there we go. Right, so now let's make our insert. I mean our little pop-up piece. This piece here. So let's do a little bit of stamping first. So I am going to bring in some scraps here of basic white, and this piece will do fine. My Spanish doorbell keeps wanting to escape into the bin. I'm not sure why. Right, Samsung uses this one called Cheese Happy, and we're going to go for what are we going to go for? Happy Easter. So let's have a look. I'm going to go for Happy. And I'm going to just take a small block, pick that up. Fine. This is Misty Moonlight ink I'm using, which is the same as the card base. I'm just going to clean it up using my simple chamois. So that says Happy. Now we want the bit that says Easter. You've got every sentiment in and out the book here. Let me have a look. Summer, heart, healing, gratitude, life, Anniversary Dreams Easter. Right, use my grid papers before to try and get this lined up straight. If there's any hope. Easter, that'll do nicely. And then clean that one up and put it back in its home as nothing. I hate more than an orphan stamp. I never can remember where it'll go. So I always stick things back where they belong. And then I don't have that trouble. Get the bunny rabbit out. I'll place him there. Lovely. Clean that up. Get rid of the simple chamois. Put this back in some home. And then I'm going to get the modern oval punch. And I'm going to punch out my little image here. And then I will punch out a second one if I can. Don't think there's space on that piece for another scrap. Okay. That will do fine. And then I also need just, if you can see here, just a little strip to make like a tag. And the strip doesn't have to be that wide. I made mine just about 2.5 centimeters, just shy of 2.5 centimeters. And then I just made it about, I didn't even measure, about 5 centimeters wide. So just going to take a little piece here, 5 centimeters. And then that'll be fine. Right, ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to take my sponge dauber and I'm just going to go around here and just give it a little ink up, just so it doesn't look, it stands out against the background a bit. Okay, and then close that up for now. I'm going to put the sponge dauber away before it rolls somewhere else. No, I've got this tray, I don't know where, online somewhere, but it works well. So now, if I bring in the original to show you what we're going to do, I'll lift it so you can see. I'm going to take the second piece, the second, whatchamacallit, punched piece, and we're going to just fold it in half and give that a good burnish. And you're going to take this piece as well and fold this little strip and fold this in half as well. And give it another burnish. Okay. Okay, so I made a boo-boo. Off camera, I just restamped it and did it again. So you can see, I've taken a little strip and I've put the bottom half stuck down here. And then I took my stamped image and I took the second piece, as you can see. I stuck it to the back and then I stuck this little piece here to the front. And then it sits really nicely just like that. So you can have it popped up like that or you can have it like that. It's really up to you. And then you can see here There you've got the pop-up piece. So now the next thing I want to do is create the belly band. So let's fold these two up together, and we're going to create this belly band. So let's put the belly band back on the original card so we can see. So first thing we want to do is I've got a piece here, another punched up piece, and we're going to get same colouring, and we're going to do Hello Easter this time. So I'm just going to get a block, small block, I think that's the smallest I've got, and that says Easter. Well, one of these must say hello. This one says hello. Right, we're going to get the sentiment in first, and then we know what space we've got for everything else. So I'm going to try and keep this straight. It's always a good idea. Hello. And then simple chamois. And then Easter. And I'm going to put Easter here. So that's fine for me. The way things have gone this morning, I'm taking anything I get. You know, you have one of those days where, you know, everything you touch seems to take forever. I think I'm having one of them. Anyway, enough of that. Close up the ink pad before we stick something in this as well and destroy all our hard work. Right. I'm going to take, I've punched out another piece here out of Granny Apple Green. I am going to cut it in half, like so. And then I'm going to put some glue on the bottom, on the top half of my punched out piece. And I've just taken a new Tombow because I am tired of struggling with the old one. I'm sure it's pretty much gone, and my arm is tired of shaking the guts out of it, so I think it's time to move on. So there we go. So now we have a little bit of a border around there. So I'm going to set that aside there to dry, and then I'm going to bring in, I've got a piece here of Misty Moonlight, and this just piece measures about 2.5 centimeters wide, and it's the full length of an A4 piece of paper. So I'm just going to try and keep everything straight because it's usually a good idea. And around there we'll do, and I'm try and keep the sort of about the same amount on either side, and I'm going to then just fold this over. And unfortunately it's not going to be long enough, but that's okay because our punched piece will cover up that problem. I'm just going to fold it or pinch it. Now I do this instead of giving you measurements because sometimes our scoring and cutting is not exact, especially on a day like today for me. This way ensures that it will fit this card perfectly. Right. So now what we want to do is I'm going to bring in some dimensionals, if I can find them. Here they are. I'm going to put one on either side here of my belly band. I'm going to put this around the card before I put down my piece here, and then I know that it's in the right position, and then we have it on and off, and that's fine. So off camera I am going to do a little bit of fussy cutting, and I'm going to cut out these images, and I'm going to show you it's from one of the pieces of paper, and I'm just going to cut these out quickly and then we'll be able to finish up this card. Okay, so pieces of fussy cut, so let's decide how we want these pieces to go. I think we want to have something shorter under the sentiment. That'll do again. So everything else has popped up quite a bit, so I'm just going to keep these flat. And I love this little, what I assume is a jar of honey here with this. And I do like designer series paper that has all these pieces, these little icons that you can fussy cut out, because it means you can create so many embellishments from just one sheet of paper, and that is so useful and it's so cost effective. Right, there we go. So there are our two cards. You can see lovely Twisted Easel card. So I hope you've enjoyed this project. If you have, I'd be grateful if you could give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're wanting more information about the project, the supply list, the measurements, etc., it's all on the blog post, and the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.